And do not buy any merch from that Bangladesh company. Absolutely no merch from that Bangladesh company. Because I'm changing that entire website for merch.
Hello, it's me, Abdulle, the official spokesman of PerryCaravelloLive.com. Are you tired of your boring old wardrobe? Have you recently switched to a new favorite live streamer? Then you have come to a right place. PerryCaravelloLive.com has all your favorite merchandise in one place. All of your products are designed and manufactured right here in
America,
the exclusive supplier of Perry Caravello live merchandise. Each product is quality guaranteed, or Mr. Caravello himself personally refund your money out of his own pocket. Perry Caravello live high quality merchandise for high quality fans.
Satisfaction is not legally guaranteed. All products are manufactured in Bangladesh. The official supplier of Perry Caravello Live. Order now.
Boy, if it's not one thing, it's another with this PCL tech shit. Sometimes it's Streamlabs, sometimes it's just the internet. And tonight it was Perry. If you saw the glitching, luckily, we got through most of it. But man, I'm gonna have to do some major tuning tomorrow, I think. And he does need a completely new rig, but I'm not gonna be able to get that to him by Friday. But man, that he fell for some kind of scam the other night while he was looking at porn that wasn't on Pornhub. And yeah, it was, I guess it could have been worse, but I'm running all sorts of scans and stuff throughout the stream too. So I'm kind of, I'm doing that, and I got to vet all the media share and run the stream and everything. So I'm kind of like getting used to this multitasking thing. I used to think I was bad at it, but I guess I'm getting okay. I think I'm okay with it if it's like a professional thing. Personal multitasking, I'm horrible. Professional multitasking, I'm good. But yeah, so I think I'm gonna there was that stretch early on where he was like on the phone and I had to reset all of his stuff. I think I'm gonna cut all that out, or most of it. I'll go through it. But I think it just kind of dragged things down. But we got through it, so that's the good thing. And I know Christmas Eve on Friday is a very early start for some people. I hope everybody can still join us. We'll see. It's going to by far our earliest start time. So I hope everybody can show up. Like to see some international people show up that normally can't show up live. Yeah, I was running malware bytes. You name it, I was running it. It was. And he has malware bytes. He has all this stuff. He has all these things on there that protect from this kind of thing. But yet, again, I've said this before. When it comes to scams or internet things, the one thing that they don't make is software. You can make software for malware scams and viruses and all that, but there's no software that prevents against Perry. That's the ultimate thing, that there's nothing. You can build all the walls. You can build a firewall a mile high. You can the most secure thing with passwords, this and that, but you cannot protect against Perry being Perry, especially if he's sitting there, relaxing, let's just say, and enjoying himself, and all of a sudden all these things pop up. So I don't know what he clicked, but there was definitely some things on there. And like if Mumble said, if he clicked 2 or 3 times on the stream, on his screen, whatever was popping up, because it was one of those things, and most people by now have come across them where I forgot about Perry gets hacked. Yeah, maybe I'll put that up on Patreon. You can hear it. I forgot about that. Yeah, there was the original hack, not the original hack, but one of the major hacks. There was a whole thing. Maybe I forgot about that, and we talked about it on the phone. And I will put that out on Patreon. Actually, that's a good reminder, Curtis. I'll do that. And thank you again, Curtis, for the tip for Tom. I greatly appreciate that. That was really nice. But yeah, so Perry himself is the problem. Yeah, Perry is malware, someone said. Yeah, and it's kind of true. Was it 2017? That was it. So the day it happened, he kind of walked me through it. There was a long phone call or whatever. I'll put that up. There's a lot of stuff like that I should probably put up on Patreon. But that's a good call. because it's going to happen again. But anyway, when you run into these things, and I've seen it like even like navigating Facebook or something, you get this very aggressive website, and what it does is it takes over your whole screen, so it goes full screen. The website's triggered to go full screen, and it looks like Windows alert. I mean, obviously to us, it it looks like exactly what it is. It looks like a total scam or scam bait. But to somebody older, to somebody naive, that can be scary. And it before you call the number, it asks you to click a bunch of things. I don't know exactly what he clicked. He made it sound when he called me. He's like, "I called you right away. I called you right away." No, the Perry Gets Hacked was never on any podcast. That was never on any podcast. I think that was in like a package we did to kind of alleviate the financial problem that happened at that moment because of the hack. But that you've never heard, if you've never heard the Perry was hacked, the whole thing. It's a whole saga. Trust me. I'll put it up. But anyway, so he made it sound like when he called me, and again woke me up out of a dead sleep, and was like, "Tom, it's Perry. I have an emergency going on, but you will be proud of me." And I was just like, "What? I'm sorry for waking you. I know it's late." And okay, that's cool. What's this now? It could be anything. It could be anything. And again, my head's like running. I'm like, "Oh no, what did he do? Who did he get in a fight with somebody? Did some kind of Instagram problem?" I usually think a lot of that. But anyway, I was like, "Okay, walk me through it." He's like, "I heard this Indian voice and I hung up immediately." And I was just like, "Oh shit, how far did we go with this?" And then I got out of bed. I ran into this room where my computer is, which was freezing, by the way. And so I logged into his computer, and I saw the screen was still up, and there was and I didn't quite investigate everything. I probably should have like taken a minute to like look around, but I closed everything down. I didn't want to restart until I made sure there was nothing crazy running, so I went into Task Manager. I did not my first rodeo, so I didn't want to start immediately resetting his computer, because then what happens is when you restart it, there's like a password required that they've locked you out. I was like, "Oh man, how far did this go?" So I did a quick look to see, if there was any recent programs installed. I didn't see anything that really caught my eye at the moment, so I restarted, and his computer did come back up fine, and did everything. And then usually before we start a stream, I have him reset his router, reset his reset everything. Router, computer, everything's fresh. And I do the same thing on my end. My end's not the biggest deal, but so I was surprised when he started glitching out. I was like, man, and then I thought it was a Skype issue because he's obviously ported in via Skype, and now it was happening live, so I had to kind of make some calls, and I went down for a little bit, finally updated his Skype because his internet wasn't working. There was some very glitchy things. So I don't know if anybody actually remoted into his PC. I don't know if it got that far. I hope not, but I'm going to do a deep dive scan. I've been meaning to just build him a completely new system. I'm not going to get him like top of the line, but at least a decent, because again, the computer he has now, I've explained before, wasn't really made to be live streaming, even though his end doesn't live stream. My end does, but he still, you could see even like the clarity of his picture is going to look better with a new system and a decent video card. And I did get a video card for him for his computer. It's not. I don't think it's like a 30. It's not a 38. I think it's a 3060. That should be completely fine for whatever he's doing. Just to process the video. Yeah, Curtis says, sign up for Patreon to see Perry's ball sack and listen to Perry Gets Hacked. Yeah, I'll upload Perry Gets Hacked. I'll try to do that tomorrow. You can hear what I'm talking about. It'll be on Patreon tomorrow if I can find. I know I have it somewhere. I just got to find it. I have it. I just completely forgot about it, to be honest with you. But it's a very interesting tale, and I think the hacker. It's funny. The guy that hacks him is a very familiar voice to people that are longtime fans of Perry. So it's very. It has an entertaining resolution. But yeah, and as far as the 3060 goes, it's all that was available. It's you don't choose what card you get. It's like whatever's available you buy. So I bought that, especially if you're going to do some kind of gaming or something. It's a bit of a robust card. Yeah, so that'll be good. But yeah, I can't get, like I said, I can't overnight it. I still gotta do all this stuff to it. So we'll see. Thing. What ad are we talking about that Perry talked over? I mean, we'll have to be specific. Since Perry talked over, what ad is that, Hannah? I got the 3060 pretty cheap too. I got it from Micro Center, and they do these lottery things. So I got it from Micro Center for like I think it was like $350, which is not bad at all for a 360. And yeah, fresh install on Windows. Yeah, I don't want to do that on this computer. If I have to, I will. But yeah, that's such a pain in the ass. But yeah, I'll test it out tomorrow. And I got so much other stuff to do tomorrow. I gotta. Like everybody else, you're preparing for Christmas and everything. So it's always fun. It's always fun to spend a day troubleshooting with Perry. Luckily, I don't have to rely on him for anything. But yeah, Micro Center does this thing where they have a very fair system for getting these cards. And I got one back in July, and what did I get? I got a 3080 Ti. I wasn't looking for a Ti necessarily, but it's all they had that day. Is you go there, and there's like a QR code you scan. You enter your name to be entered in a lottery, basically, and then they'll text you back if you've been chosen, and then you got to show up there like an hour before they open, and they give you a voucher. They tell you what cards they have in stock, and if you want one, they get a voucher. They give you a voucher, and you got to show up again when they open within the first hour of opening, and that's reserved for you. And that's what I did, because I was basically desperate for one, running this stream. So I just got whatever if they had a 3090, I would have got that, and those were like over $3,000. They were insane. But yeah, if you're looking for a card, one of those video cards, and you have a Micro Center anywhere near you, I'd say within an hour's drive. It's totally worth to do the lottery thing, because you'll definitely get one. I got a whole PC for $1,700 with a 360 in it. Not bad specs at all. What kind of CPU was that? Was it like an i7 or an i9 Intel, or was it an AMD? Because I think he can get by really good on a very good i7. Send Gary to help Perry with save point. I was going to mention that tonight, but I didn't want to hit that Garrett thing too hard. Be careful with those vouchers, especially if it relates to SAG. Yeah, luckily you don't have to do any dirty deeds to get it. It's totally cool. Curtis says, tonight is one of the few nights I can watch PCL and drink. This was good for Perry and bad for my bank account. Oh, well, thank you, Curtis. That's regardless of the reason. Thank you. I might have a drink or so. I think I'm going to have a drink on a couple of drinks on Christmas Eve, and definitely on New Year's Eve, but definitely probably towards the end of the stream, whenever that may be. $20 offer, Belushi. I'm always amenable to your offers. So, yeah, we'll talk. Great to catch After Hours. Hard to catch Perry streams when you're in the UK, so been having to download the archive streams on YouTube to listen to my train to work. Okay, well, Gray Fox, I got news for you. Friday, Christmas Eve, we're going on at 11 a.m. Pacific time. That's 7 p.m. your time, Christmas Eve. So I hope you can catch Perry live then. And I'm sorry that you wake up and Perry's gone, because that would piss me off personally. But this Friday is your day. I really want to get the word out there that it's such an. I guarantee you, there's going to be so many people that are surprised when Perry comes on at 11 a.m. Because I assume that everybody knows that because we've hit it a couple of times. But there's going to be a lot of people that are surprised. So I hope all the UK fans especially are able to tune in live when I know they normally can't, because I know obviously he starts late. And I think in January we are going to toy with starting earlier, because Wednesday is hard for me. Friday is hard because it's a 9 p.m. East Coast start, and they go for a while. I never factor in Perry's opening mail, but I think we're going to switch things around. I think we're going to go for a couple of 5 p.m. starts. East Coast time, so that would be 2 p.m. West Coast time. So that would be. So we'll see how that works. I know that's still obscenely late for the UK, but I guess it's not as bad. You can neglect. Yeah, don't neglect your family to see PCL. I know it's Christmas Eve evening in the UK, so I know not everybody can tune into that. Believe me, and that's part of the reason why we're starting early. Is a couple of things. Obviously, PCL's, like Joey, Garrett, you want to be with, your family Christmas Eve. I have a tradition in my family where we go out to this restaurant on Christmas Eve, so I couldn't do Christmas Eve night, so that's why we're trying to do it. It was either not do it at all or do it early, so we're doing it early. But Perry's going to be dressed as Santa Claus. He's going to be, we're doing the thing where we're giving out tips to delivery drivers, if you get any. There's a chance you might not get any. But I've already had a number of fans who have stopped by Perry's place to drop off things like, oh, does that apply to fans? And I said, no. I think there's got to be some kind of vetting process Perry needs to do where they need to check. He's going to need to check your DoorDash or Uber Eats credentials. At least show the order on the phone or something like that to make sure it's just not some guy showing up with a bunch of drinks. But I think it should be fun, and he's got some Christmas presents hanging around. 5 across face. Let me float a pre-offer here. $50 every time Perry burps, snorts, gets up to use the bathroom. He has to put a shirt over his existing shirt. I'll say an exception for 2 burps in a row. I mean, you get caught up in those burps. They're impossible to keep track of. So I think we tried that once with the burp. It becomes maddening. It becomes absolutely maddening. I mean, the burping is so excessive that that's a good gem of an idea, but we need to flesh that out a little bit more. Yeah, I agree with you. Eric the actor and Perry in the same segment would have been great. There was a period right before Eric passed away, and I think he passed away in 2014, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was September 2014 Eric passed away. Eric the actor, who was a caller into the Howard Stern show. I really, at that point, he was very similar to Perry in a lot of ways, and he was going off on different people on Twitter, and I wanted to get Perry involved in at least a Twitter war with Eric just to see where it would go. And just as I was about thinking about it, Eric died. So that's the thing. Oh, that computer was an i7. Okay, yeah, I have an i7 chip. I just got to get a motherboard for it and a case, and I got the card. I got to get a power supply and a couple other things. Probably a DVD drive because of who it is. But a couple other things. And they install all this stuff. Okay, let me see Belushi's offer here. Super quick. Can I call Perry with a very bad accent, maybe Indian, pretending to be Tom Brennan, saying that I'm going to send Perry a link and ask him to type in his bank details to do it? Just to see his reaction and see if he'll go for it. Okay. Yeah, I can do that. You're on. I mean, it's going to be a bad accent. I'm trying to think if I even do. I don't really. Well, I'll just think of it when I do it. I got to call him from. Well, I got to block. Let's see if he'll answer a blocked call. Hang on a second. Oh, don't send it yet. Don't send it yet, because I want to see if this works. Unlike Perry, I'll only accept it if it's if he answers the phone. I want to see if he answers the phone. Okay. Okay, let me just get this straight. So I'm pretending to be Tom Brennan. Okay. Oh man, I hope. All right, I hope I can keep it together for this. All right, let's see how this goes. What's his number again? Okay. All right. Okay. Bad accent saying I'm going to send Perry a link and ask him to type in his. Okay. All right. Here we go. Let's see. Let's see what happens. I did block my number, so.
Yo,
Perry Caravello,
who's this?
this is Tom Brennan, your manager. I need you to go.
No, it's not.
I need you to go to your computer and enter in a special link.
Bye.
I will send you to fix your computer
I'll call him back. Good on him, though. He hung right up on me. Oh, shit. All right, I'm going to try that again. That was quick, man. You got to give the boy credit for that. Oh, hold on. He's calling me now. Hello?
Some Middle Eastern guy called me up. He says he's Tom Brennan, my manager. He says, go to your computer. I need you to enter in something. And I said, goodbye. And I hung up on him.
Oh, my God. What did you enter in?
I didn't enter nothing. I'm sitting in my bedroom.
Oh, my God.
I'm sitting in my bedroom. So I need you to do this.
Wait, he mentioned my name?
He said your name. He said he was you. He said, this is Tom Brennan.
Wait, walk me through.
In a Middle Eastern voice. I said, this is not Tom. I says, and then I hung up on him.
What was he asking you to do?
Told me to go to my computer and enter something in. I don't know what it was. I just hung up on him.
Doesn't that concern you a little bit? How did you know my name?
Oh, yeah, that's why did I call you up right away?
What did you do the other night to get this kind of thing going?
I don't know what I did. I went to a fucking Pornhub.
No, you did. You didn't go to Pornhub.
I went to Pornhub and then I went to some other stupid page from Pornhub.
All right. Well,
And the fucking private guy is trying to call me again.
get the phone. Get the phone.
I just hung it up. It's a private number and I just hung it up.
Well, if he calls back, I want you to get some information out of him, dude.
All right.
I want to know how this guy knows my name. Ask him some questions.
Stream?
Probably the stream, but ask him some questions.
Oh boy. I'm worried sick now.
That's fucked, man.
Now I'm going to answer this. Stay there. Don't move.
All right, get back to me.
Don't move.
Hello?
Hello?
Motherfucker, this is Tom Brennan, your boss. I need you go to computer right now, motherfucker. You got virus.
Motherfucker. You don't sound like my boss, motherfucker.
I your boss. I Tom
What is your
Brennan.
real
I
name?
Tom Brennan, go to your computer right now.
You're not Tom Brennan. You don't sound like Tom Brennan's voice.
Motherfucker, I'm your boss. I know you very well. You're gay
My
man.
boss.
You do the
Fuck
thing.
you. What's your real name? Where are you calling me from?
I'm Tom Brennan. You do the thing with
You're not Tom Brennan.
Yes, you do the thing right now. You go to computer. I need your bank details. I'm trying to help you.
Details? Are you out of your fucking mind?
Fuck
you.
I'm trying to help you, motherfucker. Go to your computer right now. Well, he hung up. Okay. Pretty good though. Yeah, why'd you hang up on me?
Did you hear the guy's voice?
No, you took the call and hung up on me.
Oh shit. He says, I'm Tom Brennan. He says, go to your computer. I need your bank. He goes, I need your bank information.
Oh, Jesus. You didn't give it to him, did you?
Him.
Did you give it to him?
Hello? I didn't give him shit. Why would I give him any information? I hung up on him.
Well, did you ask him how he knew who I was, or did you get any information out of him?
He goes, I'm your boss. Go to your computer. I'm sitting in my bedroom. I'm not moving from my bed.
Jesus Christ, dude.
This is scary shit.
What did you do the other night that this guy has your fucking number?
I don't know.
How many clicks did you really make the other night before you called me?
I don't remember. I don't remember how many clicks I made. All
right. Well, I mean, this is not good.
No, this is not good. This motherfucker is trying to call me again right now.
All right, go get it.
Hold on. Hello?
Perry.
Yeah, who is this? What's your real name? You're not Tom Brennan.
Perry, this is your friend, Tom Brennan. We've been through lots of things.
You're not my fucking friend. You're not Tom Brennan at all.
I help you.
You're not helping me. You're fucking me. Fuck you, you lying bastard.
Perry, I need you to go to computer. Do the thing. Click the link. I sent link to your computer. Did you see all the glitch?
I'm not going to my computer, you piece of shit. Fuck you. Goodbye.
Perry, this is Tom Brennan. God, he won't let me get to the fucking thing I want to say. I got to give him credit. I'm mad that he's hanging. I'm mad that he's hanging up, but I'm really not. I'm actually very happy that he's hanging up. Hey.
Dude, I'm very sorry for bothering you at this hour.
What's up?
I really am.
What's going on?
He goes, I'm Tom Brennan. He goes, go to your computer. I sent you my link. I sent you the link.
What link did he send?
I don't know what he said. But I'm not going to my computer.
All right, that's probably.
I'm scared to death not to even touch my computer.
That's probably for the best.
I'm scared to death to even touch my computer.
All right, but did you get any?
I'll let you do it all.
Well, thank you. But did you get any information out of him?
No, he keeps saying that he's you.
Right, but what is he saying as me?
He just says that he's Tom Brennan. He says, go to your computer. He says, I sent you the link. He wants my bank information.
All right. Well, Perry, if he calls back, you got to get some information out of this guy. You got to know this.
He's not going to give me any information. All he wants is my bank information.
Yeah, I know, but ask him how he knows my name.
All right. Here he is calling again.
All right.
Private number.
All right, go get it. I'll wait.
Hello?
Perry, please don't hang up. This is Tom Brennan.
You're not Tom Brennan. How the fuck do you know this guy's name? How do you know my boss's name?
Because I know you're not the snowboarder, motherfucker. Get the tattoo removed.
No, I'm not the
You
snowboarder,
suck.
motherfucker.
You're not the snowboarder.
Tattoo removal.
You don't know how to
You.
snowboard. You haven't been snowboarding in 21 years.
Kiss my ass, motherfucker.
Remove your tattoo, motherfucker.
Fuck you,
Remove your tattoo. Remove your tattoo.
My ass. I'm in the snow.
You're not in no snow. You're not the snowboarder. You're a fucking moron.
Why'd you hang up on me?
No, it cut off. All right. You're not the snowboarder. Remove the tattoo. It's like, fuck you, you asshole.
Well, maybe this guy knows what he's talking about.
You too, motherfucker. God damn it. Fuck all you motherfuckers. I'm going to fucking say fuck you all to the fucking rest of the stream for the rest of the week. I'm in the snow.
You're not
Bye.
You're not in the snow. Everybody knows you're not in the snow.
Goodbye.
What are you saying goodbye? No,
What?
You're not in the snow. You've never been in the snow.
Goodbye.
When's the last time you've even seen a picture of snow?
Oh, fucking kiss my ass, motherfucker. Goodbye. I'm in the snow, bitch.
We'll see.
Tip for Tom Brendan Perry Caravello manager. Amazing job, Madafaka.
Thank you. Yeah, I was trying to do the thing because, like, whenever you see these like scammer guys, when they get really frustrated, like especially with the people that scam the scammers, they always get into the motherfucker, fuck you, motherfucker. They always get into this really thing. No, the commercial's not Ludwig. That's Rafe who does the website. Sorry, I got to do a quick maintenance call. Sorry, I don't want him to go to bed mad.
Please leave your message.
God, did he hang up this fucker? He turned his phone off. Hold on, I gotta call the other number now. This guy has like 5 phones. Come on.
Yeah.
All right, Perry. I didn't mean to get into a thing with you. I'm just very frustrated that you got this call.
I am too. I shut the phone off.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. But I just wanted to know. What
He's saying that I'm not he's even saying it like you guys are saying that I'm not a snowboarder. And all this other bullshit.
Well, even hackers know that Indian hackers know you're not a snowboarder.
No, they don't know shit. Okay. Goodbye. I'm in the snow. Whether I'm in the snow tomorrow or the next day, tough shit. I'm in the fucking snow.
Remember, stick to Porno Hub. Don't go anywhere else.
Forget Porno Hub. Forget all these other stupid stations. I don't want to see any of this garbage. I just want to go to bed.
All right.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye. I was gonna call as the Indian guy on that number, but if the guy knew that number, it would be weird. So I think we can come back to that some other time. But that was about as far as it was gonna go. Convinced it's safest. I like look, the angle that I like with the snowboarding thing is a true one. I mentioned it before. This new what is it, like Megatron stream of COVID? I'm not trying to be funny. What is it? What is the fucking strain called in this new one? Because he's so COVID paranoid. And I think maybe that might do it. That might at least keep him out for a while until he can go with somebody, that he trusts. Sorry, Curtis, you contact Perry directly if you want a refund. Omicron, that's what it is. Omicron. Sorry, I've become an ignoramus with following the news. Yeah, I knew it was Kron. I knew it was Transformers sounding. Not to mock it in any way, because people get upset if you do that. I'm not trying to do that. Feed Me Grapes has it right now. Ooh, I do not want it. Teddy, the 4-year-old, has had croup, really bad croup, the Saturday night, and we had to take him to the emergency room in the middle of the night. It was really scary, and I thought he had something bad, because he sounded a little weird on Friday. Even when he said Merry Christmas to Perry, he had a little bit of something in his voice that sounded off. So we had to go to the hospital, the emergency room, in the middle of the night. It was really bad. He couldn't breathe. He woke up in a panic. He couldn't breathe. So luckily he tested tested negative for COVID, but I guess croup sounds worse than it is. But it was the breathing thing, and we did like a FaceTime consultation with a doctor, and they said bring him in. So we were there for like 4 hours. I didn't recover until like Tuesday because it just like screws you up. So he's on the mend now. He's still got that cough, but it's getting better. Thanks, guys. Yeah, I'll pass that along. He was very pleased with himself that he got to speak to Perry on the stream. But yeah, he's on the mend now. But it was and I started getting something a little bit, and I was like, oh no, that's just because you're in a freezing cold room doing your work like an idiot. That's nothing to do with adults really can't catch it. It's but you can catch like a trace of it, whatever. And I haven't really been anywhere, so I don't think I'm catching anything else. So I don't know. But yeah, thanks for all the well wishes. He's definitely definitely on the mend. Is there any chance of getting Bobcat to call in on a Sunday? I seriously doubt it. I don't think he wants anything to do with Perry anymore. Oh, your daughter has croup? Like, has it now? I'm sorry to hear that. Teddy's okay, Chacha. Yeah, he was. It was again. It was really scary Saturday night in the middle of the night. Like he was crying. Because you're a little kid, and you wake up and like you're coughing uncontrollably, and then you can't breathe. And he had this heavy wheeze. It was really scary, very heavy wheeze, and was having a hard time breathing. And it's the most frustrating thing ever. But they were really good with him. We went right into the ER, pretty much seen right away. They gave him a steroid, which cleared that up, and then he had a fever in addition to that, so they just gave him Tylenol for that. Yeah. So and then he was much better. He got donuts on the way home and was very happy. But he doesn't know how to be sick. Like he still runs around like a lunatic and wants he doesn't know how to chill out and be sick, like lay in bed and watch TV and like do the things that you're supposed to do. There's some people that just don't know how to be sick, and he's one of them. So it's been a little it's been a rough week between. Oh, and then he walked in on me editing Perry's penis. I had to quickly shut the screen off before he came in, but I was blurring Perry's penis, which I've been doing quite a bit this week. And it's funny when you see the video, you're gonna be like, oh, it's not that bad. It's like there's like little segments where like he comes off, but you got to realize it's bad. It's much longer when you break it down frame by frame. So like let's say the sock comes off for like, God, not even a minute, and it goes on forever. So, is there a decent donut place near me? No, there isn't. But there was a decent one near the. I looked it up on. If you're in New York and you're looking for a good donut place, you're just gonna get hit with Dunkin' Donuts ad nauseum. They're everywhere and they stink. So. Yes, Sheba. PCL did break 1,100 a couple of weeks ago. We were at like well over 1,100. Goals for 2022. I don't know. Just building the audience more. But so anyway, I looked up. There was a donut place near the emergency room, and that was very decent. And he was happy. He loves. He only eats the frosting though. He doesn't eat the whole donut. How does Perry square his love of right-wing media with the obsession of COVID? It's in opposition, which is actually a credit to him, because I don't think he watches that hard. Right-wing stuff anymore. But yeah, because I hate how COVID's politicized, personally. I don't think it should be political. Sorry, I had to sneeze, so I muted myself. It just seems like a lot of people that are on the far left are like crazy paranoid about anything COVID. Like they basically like walk around in a bubble if they could. And then if you're on the right, it's like, hey, nothing's happening, man. It's like no big deal. No, man, don't tell me I have to wear a mask. Don't there's no such thing. It's all made up. This is So it seems so crazy to me that you would make that politicized. It's such a not a it shouldn't be it should not be a political thing. But so Perry doesn't fall into that mold, and it's a credit to him. He's definitely, I'd much rather him be freaked out about it than not care. Like if he didn't care, and like especially like last year, like whenever things were getting really rough, like if he was just going everywhere and not caring, it would be concerning. But no, he's the right level of paranoid, and I think legitimately. The Omicron strain should be an issue of him going up to Big Bear, at least right now. Donut King, I think, is in a couple of locations, but it's not really a place here. I think there might there's a donut place in the city, like way like practically in the Bronx. It's like in Inwood, which is like the northest most point of New York City. I used to live in Inwood, and there was a donut place there that was halfway decent, but I can't remember if it was Donut King or not. As I've said before, New York is bereft of decent donut places. You go to California, they're everywhere. It's crazy. Yeah, he's paranoid about that, but not about breaking. Yeah, that's where the defiance comes in. He's totally he's imbued this fake passion into himself, where he's passionate about snowboarding, as if that passion has been building for the past 21 years. He just didn't have the funds until now. Now that he has the funds, he's going to be in the snow. I mean, give me a break. I've never heard of Duck Donuts. It's funny though. I had a business thing that I wanted to do now that pot's legal in New York, or is going to be legal. I wanted to open up a dispensary and a donut place like right next to each other and call it like Blaze and Glaze, because it would be a license to print money, at least for a couple of years before somebody else came along and did what you did better. But like a donut place that's open late, and then there's also a dispensary like right next to each other. I mean, come on. I need a business loan to get that started. Bill lives in the Utica area. Between us and Syracuse, we have some incredible bakeries. Yeah, once in a while, that's true. Once in a while, you can find a bakery that does a couple of donuts here and there, but they're rare. They're rare. I've tried, and I'm not the biggest donut guy, to be honest with you. But every now and then, I do enjoy it. You have Krispy Kreme in a few locations in New York City, and they're in like a Penn Station. And then there's one I found one way downtown in a financial district that was in another train station. Yeah, that's the thing though with dispensaries is when you first start up, you can be a mom and pop place, but then these big giants come along, and then they just buy you out. So yeah, Southern California is filled with donut places everywhere, like everywhere. They're almost every other block. Is insane, and most of them are good. Not that I've tried them all, but yeah, it's just I think New York could benefit from some quality donut. I'm surprised it does. I mean, New York's just falling apart at the seams in every area. The one thing they could do would be to have a couple of donut places. But yeah, it's not a thing, unfortunately. Oh, and somebody mentioned goals for 2023. Here's a goal. I'd like to get some legit sponsors for PCL. Nothing annoying or inundating, but like a thing that Perry could pitch legitimately, like Ring. I would like Ring to be a sponsor for PCL. Yeah, I know. I looked into it too. Not only does it cost a lot of money, they give to open a dispensary. Yeah, like it's an insane amount of investment up front. Although, if you can get a business loan to open it, do it, because you're going to get. It's one of these businesses. It's almost impossible to fail at least you'll at least make your investment back, at the very least. But yeah, they give preference to females and minorities, which I'm neither. So that puts me behind the hole a little bit. But yeah, I mean, they haven't released, because I keep checking. They haven't released when they're gonna like let people apply, but it's insane. Yeah, and I think it's even like Roger's saying that Illinois is a $30K application fee. That's just an application fee, $30K. I think it's either similar or more for New York when they eventually greenlight it. It's like, yeah, it's a gamble, a little bit of a gamble, but people are gonna go nuts for it because like New York, at least for the time being. Yeah, the Irish used to be a minority. I do have an Irish passport. Maybe a weed store can be a sponsor. Yeah, that would be good. But yeah, I don't know when they're planning on it. I think every state's going to do it eventually because every state's like basically uh, in despair financially, from the past 2 years. So why wouldn't they do it? Biggest thing in the weed business is knowing growers because otherwise you're gonna be buying other people's stuff. That's very true. Yeah, yeah. Have a good relationship with growers. That's the thing, and there's licensing where um, there's licensing with you when you apply, you got to apply as like a retailer, a grower, uh, or I think you can do both. Um, there's another tier too. It was very complicated. It's gonna be a big deal. And I'm not a weed guy personally. I am not a weed guy. I do not enjoy smoking on any level. I've never been a smoker. I've never been a cigarette smoker. The idea, the concept of willingly inhaling smoke into my lungs is so foreign to me that I can't get. I've tried it. I've tried vaping. I can't do it. The only thing I enjoy are edibles, and it's mainly to help me go to sleep. And lately, there was one brand that I was using, and I basically have an immunity to it now. It has no effect on me. And then there's a stronger one that hits me over the head with like a 2x4, and then I get crazy dry mouth, where I wake up in the middle of the night, and I'm like desperate for like something like sweet tasting or something. So it gets annoying. Only smoke when you drink. What do you mean only? I hear that a lot. I only smoke when I drink, but if you drink a lot, you're smoking a lot. Yeah, I should start a cocaine company, and my slogan be like, "Tomorrow night we're in the snow." Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, legalize coke. Edibles don't do it for you. You enjoy smoking bowls. That's cool. I get it. I get that. And I've only gotten edibles recently. By recently, I mean the past couple of years. Like I have a friend in California that sends me, whatever he gets at his dispensary. He basically curates for me, and then I give my reviews on what worked and what didn't work. If I open a dispensary, you live on a farm 4 hours from me. You quit your job and be a grower. Let's do it, Bill. Let's do it. Let's get in that business together. I need a grower. You need a dispensary. Let's firm handshake on that, and let's get that done. I would love to do that. I would love to do that. I really would, because I do think it's. I know so many people that wish they got into it. When their state opened it up, but man, it is so cost prohibitive, and I've never done anything like that. I've had my own business before, but not on that level. The next stream is the 24th. Yeah, the next stream's Friday, early start, 11 a.m. Spread the word. It's an early start on Friday, 11 a.m. Pacific time. Yeah, I agree with that, Belushi. Perry is going to be more and more sponsor friendly. He knows how to hold his tongue a little bit more. Yeah, and again, you look at the stream, and there might be things that you bat an eye at, but you can't deny the level of engagement that PCL has. I mean, the chat's always blowing up. The viewers are always strong, and it's if I was looking to sell something, I would I'd hit up PCL for sponsorship. Garrett says we need some PCL names of weed strands. I like that idea. Yeah, we'll have the Defiant P, the fake voice strand, the leave it at the door. Manscaped, I know, Manscaped, everybody has Manscaped, though. Everybody has Manscaped and NordVPN, but Perry would actually be a pretty good candidate for Manscaped since he does shave. Yeah, I've looked at Manscaped. Yeah, that's probably not a bad idea. Manscaped doesn't give you... Manscaped, they don't give out a lot, though. That's why you see them on so many low-end podcasts, because they're not... they're pretty cheap. Callahan Kush. I like that. By the way, shout outs to whoever sent that Randy Callahan interview thing. I had never seen that before. That was a good find. Belushi does. I don't know stats, but I've seen streamers with more viewers that get a percentage of the engagement. Right? Yeah, I've seen that too. Baby mode strain. That'll be intense. The Garrett's coming over strand. You may have covered this before, but how did I get Perry to avoid the F word? He can't help himself with the R word. But with the F word, yeah. Well, the R word's not that bad. I mean, it's becoming bad. The R word's kind of training wheels in a way. Like, it's not a TOS thing. You could say that all day long, really. I mean, you don't want to say it all day long, but you're not going to get suspended for it. It's like Facebook, though. If you type it on Facebook, they will like autobot you and ban you or something. But yeah. I don't remember, but I remember, I guess it had to be, yeah, probably around this time last year, like after his first Twitch stream. And even though I probably said, hey, there's words you can't say, it's this is a bad word or whatever. I wanted to get it. I wanted to get him off of that. Anyway, because it's just, I'm not a PC guy really, but it's one of those things. Like, I look at it like this: if a word offends somebody or hurts somebody's feelings, especially somebody that could be in your audience, I'd rather not use it. Like, even like midget, little person. Like I not that it comes up that often, but I'll try to avoid saying midget because I know it's offensive to people who are little people, whatever. I'm not saying we have little people in our audience. I don't know if we do. But it's kind of along those lines. So it was really... It's a longer answer because it ties into his the Jehovah's Witness thing, and when that was weaning off, and when that was... Because that was coming to a head right around this time of year. Right around this time last year, they wanted him to get... completely out of everything he was doing, especially the streams that because they would see it, they would see clips of it, and then they would confront him. And I think weaning him off the F word, at least telling him not to do it on the stream, he could remember, and he'd write a note to himself or something like that. But then when things came to a head with the Jehovah's Witness thing, when he left, then it gave me more. It gave me more power to convey to him that he was kind of brainwashed, and because you got to keep in mind, you can hear people say that F word, like you can be playing a video game with your friends, and somebody would be like, you goddamn F word, like somebody who sniped you from a building. I've seen it on other like gaming streams, like it'll just come out because in the moment where you're worked up in something, and you're frustrated, you want to say the most like vile thing you could think of. So people say those things in that context. In that context, whatever. If you say that, that's fine. I don't say it in my personal life, and I would say to parent, and so coming from him, there came a point too where it just wasn't. It just didn't strike me as funny. It was like there was a viciousness behind the word, and his using that word was also encouraged by other people he was working with at the time that I didn't necessarily agree with, but I had to defer to. So where I would probably edit something like that he said out, other people would want to keep that in. Because there's a viciousness when he says it, or when he said it in the past, where it wasn't funny. It was like hateful, and that's just, it can be misinterpreted because a lot of it comes from his brainwashing and the religion and the the teachings that these are evil people and this is an evil satanic thing, and that's what he truly believed. So really the deprogramming of the Jehovah's Witness tied into it. So Kurt, it's a long answer, it's a long-winded answer, and I'll probably be here all night getting really into it, but it just took a lot of time. It didn't happen overnight, and I think it happened gradually, where it was like, if he said it to me on a personal, like on a phone call, it was like this F word, whatever. I said, Perry, let's get rid of that word. It's a bad word. Okay, it's a bad word. Let's get past that. And I would really break it down why it was a bad word, why it was bad, and it's hurtful. And I said, listen, it's 2021. You're living in 1970 something. You think that everybody's out to harass you, and your religion has treated you, not treated you, but has treated it like it's this cancerous thing, it's part of the deprogramming. So and making him evolve, and it's just the thing. I've said this before. I always get upset when people say people can't change. Like, oh, people never change. You can't really change. You can't teach an old dog new tricks or whatever. People don't change. So that's not true, because if friggin' Perry can change, yeah, sure, he's still triggered by certain things, but he's a lot. He like, as far as blatant homophobia, he's not homophobic, and I will say that with 100% certainty. Now it's like he's much better. Like I've said, there was a cameo fairly recently where it was like, legitimate, like two guys getting married, and he was kind of friendly with it. He was like, all right, you guys want to invite me to your wedding, I'll come to your wedding. He was very cordial to it, whereas a year ago he'd be like, this is disgusting, what I mean? Like, so yeah, he's not living in 1992, he's living in like 1982, if that. But yeah, so anyway, there's probably more things to it, but I just tried to, because I knew that was the one thing that could kill us. Like that was going to be a no-go zone, and so I knew it was just there was no compromise on it. So yeah, and I'm proud of the fact that it's pretty much completely eliminated from his vocabulary. He hasn't said, like, he doesn't say it to me. Like, he's like, it's just not a go-to word. In what ways has the stream exceeded my expectations since its start, and short of expectations and others? That's a good question. Exceeded my expectations, probably the audience engagement and how people, how people like really love it, and there's a hardcore following where people like catch every stream live, which blows my mind, and it is so gratifying. You know, there's other people that don't get the concept of a live stream, but so that's I'd say the fan engagement exceeds, and something I'd like to see do better. I'd like to. There's a couple of ways to answer that. Like on my end, I'd like to get better technically, like like have it look better, have his end look better. Oh, Patrick says I saw a stream where a guest said the stream was shut down within a couple of minutes. Yeah, oh yeah, they don't kid around. They don't. That there's a couple of button words, and we all know what they are. That if they come flying out, you're done. There's no trial. I think the stream's just done. It's over. The channel is suspended, or completely canceled. So yeah, shortcomings. I don't know if I have too many shortcomings. I would have, the way things were trending, I would have liked to have seen the stream get as many new people have come aboard as they have. I thought we'd be in the thousands by now. If like you talk to me in like June or something like that, like, oh, it's going to keep. So it's interesting to see when you get a burst of new people that become devout followers. So I guess that would be my honest answer for things to fall short of. As good as it is, and we had like over 1,100 people a couple of weeks ago, and that was great. But but yeah, and as Hannah says, there are people that bait Perry to say those words. Like there's definitely, he was egged on to be like that by other people, for the sake of laughs. Which him as a person didn't do any favors. Do I think John Hine? Do we really care about John Hine anymore? Yeah, it was. But I have not thought about that dude in a long time. But no, I don't think he was blown by any women. But yeah, I don't know anything about Reddit streaming. That's you asking that question is the first I heard of it. Guerrilla marketing with stickers. Does that work? If I have proof that it works, then yes, I'm interested in it. Twitch does, Patrick. As far as Twitch promoting it more, I'm still not convinced that anybody human works at Twitch, because all I've had communication with is bots. There was one guy early last year that was on board, and then he left the company, unfortunately. But yeah, it doesn't work like that. Unfortunately, they don't look at the stream and be like, oh, wow, you guys are doing really well. We should promote you more. It's just if you get in the algorithm, like most new people come in because they just discovered on Twitch. It's just especially, I'll tell you, the most time where Perry gets the most clicks of new people, like people checking it out, is when he's in a costume. When he's in a costume, we get a flood of new followers. So if Perry's dressed as Humpty Dumpty or Wario, whatever, a flood of new people come in because that's the screenshot they see. Like, oh, let me check this out. What's going on here? Streaming on Reddit. Yeah, Reddit's kind of a cesspool, though, overall. Like, I don't... but I'm not opposed to doing it. I'd have to look into it. Like, we streamed on Facebook a couple of times. That just didn't work out. Like, even TikTok. Garrett was telling me about TikTok. So, like, TikTok has it in for PCL because they take down a lot of stuff. Like, when the microwave fire happened, they took that video, even though that video was trending and it was getting a shit ton of views. They take it down because and they have all these different reasons why they take it down. But if you appeal it, you're appealing to a bot. You know what I mean? So I know that's a big frustration that Garrett has. But yeah, so I don't know about Santa Claus on Friday, if that's going to be a costume thing that'll bring in a lot of new eyes, because I think a lot of people are just as that. But yeah, was there a noticeable growth after the pajama pants podcast. I think that's more of a slow burn. But yeah, the very next stream after that aired was that's when we broke 1,000. So yeah, I think a lot of people that listened to the Pajama Pants podcast did check out PCL. Unfortunately, it was his birthday stream, which is not typical PCL. I don't know if they were like, grabbed by it. Do I remember this? He was caught earlier in the broadcast saying the F word on a hot mic, and this happened. I can't read it because it's starred out. See, TikTok banned you from streaming because you said the word pussy. That's ridiculous. Yeah, TikTok's worse. TikTok's worse than Twitch. Now, I don't know anything. I don't do TikTok. It's just one. I don't need it in my life. But Garrett runs the TikTok account and just always comes to me with war stories and stuff. And there's things that do very well. I know we've gotten new eyes from TikTok for sure. But you kind of almost got to dumb down your clips on there because they're so sensitive. I know a couple of people on the staff from an old friend of mine that streamed. I could try to get in touch with you. Yeah, that'd be if you know anybody that works for Twitch, definitely. Like I said, I think I said a couple of weeks ago, there was you can always see who's in the chat, and the moderators are highlighted, and then if any Twitch staff comes into the chat, you can see Twitch staff, and there was, I don't know, this was shortly after we had that BS suspension, and there was somebody from the Twitch staff in the chat room, and I messaged them, and I said, hey, I whispered them, and said, hey, we could really use a human person to talk to at Twitch because we have these issues, da 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 da, and then the person wrote me back the next day saying like, hey, I'm just a tech person. I just do code for Twitch, but I found the stream and I really enjoy it. So and now we regularly see him in the chat now. Like he stands, he doesn't really talk or anything like that, but it's like that same guy. He's just a coder for Twitch. But I got excited there when I saw like an actual like Twitch employee in there. But yeah, I know people that just are addicted to TikTok, and I just I just don't need that in my life. I figure if there's a video that's so important, it's going to trend elsewhere, like Twitter. And I don't even do Twitter, but I'll do it in just to promote PCL. But sorry, my voice is really drying out. I really don't do social media outside of PCL stuff, and my life has been infinitely better for it. But yeah, I mean, I guess there's other venues to stream on, But for now, Twitch is the main hub, as frustrating as they are. Can we please let me know when we're done with Tom Talks About the Stream and move on to Tom Decrees, like it or not? I don't really have too many decrees that came up in recent memory. What am I eating for Christmas dinner? Okay, well, Christmas Eve we go out to a restaurant. I usually get duck. They do this Long Island duck. It's a special, and I pretty much get it every Christmas Eve. Christmas Day, I'm actually hosting Christmas. So my sister, Mary Beth, the one that Perry has the hots for, is coming over, and my parents and Teddy, of course, and my other sister, my sister Lauren's coming over the next day. But I'm cooking a turkey. I'm basically doing Thanksgiving dinner on Christmas. So I'm doing a full spread on Christmas. It's the first time I'm actually hosting Christmas ever. So yeah, I'm gonna have the Bartesian set up for nice cocktails. And yeah, so that's what I'm doing on Christmas Day. I dig the turkey on Christmas Day. Oh, sorry, I was trying to send a YouTube link here. Baseball commentator Tom Brennan was caught saying the F word on a hot mic. Yeah, I heard that clip. He got in pretty big trouble for that. Obviously, I can't say names, Tom, but I find it hilarious that some very big celebrities are sitting watching Perry do an egg sink with the boat in his kitchen. Yeah. I've said a couple of names. Bill Hader, Johnny Knoxville are two legit people that watch the stream on the regular. Those are the ones that I know probably don't care that people know that obviously Robert Eiler from The Sopranos, and he told me that he's told a bunch of other people that watch that. I don't know if I could say everybody, but yeah. And then there's some other people that like. Yeah, see, I hate even going down the road because I sound like such a tease, and I can't say who it is. But there was some surprising names that I heard. Like, wow, that person watches. That's crazy. But I don't have that same. I don't have. There was one person that used to fill me in on that stuff, and I don't have that. He hasn't shared that with me recently, so. Yeah, but none of these people, but all of them, they all share the same thing. They never. A lot of celebrities. What they do is they have these fake Twitter profiles. That's not their official profile, and that's where they follow all the crazy stuff that they don't want people knowing that they follow. So that's where, like, I've seen some people, like I know some of their fake accounts, and there's a CNN guy actually, and I'm not going to dox who it is, but there's a CNN guy that has a fake a fake Twitter account who interacts with Perry constantly. Yeah, it's like their burner account, and definitely watches PCL because he's up on all the latest thing, and he's a major person at CNN, which is funny. But yeah, but the problem is like they'll never like retweet you or give you that engagement. You know what I mean? Like they'll never like something or do anything crazy. Okay, you guys are right. I'm not going to verbally acknowledge it, but yes, you guys are right. But yeah, so like it'd be one thing if like Perry had a good clip on Twitter and like somebody big that had a ton of following like actually like retweeted it, or something like that. They don't do that, So it doesn't, and nor do they. Once in a blue moon, they'll send in a tip comment. Once in a blue moon, and I'll usually, I'll find out afterwards, like, oh, that was so and so or whatever. But it's rare. They mainly just, it's their dirty little secret. It's their dirty little secret. So and who knows who else? Rosie? No, not Rosie. But I think Rosie blocked Perry, if I'm not mistaken. I think, yeah. So, by the way, what are you guys doing for Christmas? Is anybody traveling for Christmas? Or are you staying home? I'm definitely not going anywhere. Hunter Biden, Trump, yeah. Oh, you got your sister watching at school. Yeah, I think PCL is a little bit family friendly. I mean, not family friendly, but female friendly. There's more and more females watching. Although that's gonna be a test of wills for the females out there watching that waxing video. Trust me. Don't kill me if you guys are completely horrified by it. Oh, why is it gonna be the saddest Christmas ever for you? Friends, yeah, I heard a lot of that, Rick. A lot of people get their friends at work. Yeah, no, I get that, Belushi. The cancel mob and everything like that. Retweeted a Perry clip recently, which is cool, is Shuley from the Stern Show. I saw, not that he's the biggest celebrity, but that was cool. Like he retweeted the clip of Perry with the nitro ketchup. So and I know he definitely watches. He's a big fan. I think he had asked about having Perry on his podcast. Just alone, I'll see a couple of movies. Oh, some people do that. That's Christmas could be a good movie watching day. brother's house for Christmas dinner. That's cool. Does John Cena watch? Not that I know of. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Sean. It's first Christmas without your mom, staying home and eating her favorite meal. That's nice. On your mom. I'm sorry to hear about your mom. Yeah, that's gonna be a rough one for me. When that inevitably happens. So I'm very empathetic for anybody who loses a parent. I'm sorry to hear that. Is Perry getting sick? Not that I know of. Not that I know of. I like Shuli too. I'm surprised his podcast isn't more popular. Like I've seen the views, like on YouTube. They're not that big, and I wonder why that is. Once in a while, though, like one of those comments come in from like somebody like The Rock or whatever. I sometimes picture that person actually sending it in. Like that's how I read it. Beetlejuice was on Stern recently. See, that's something I'd listen to a clip of. I wouldn't listen to that whole show, but I'd listen to a clip of. But that's cool. My wife loves the stream. She thought Perry was special needs person being exploited at first. She gets it now. Yeah. Well, no. If anybody's being exploited, it's me. And no, he's not being exploited. He does have some special needs though, like futons and Toyotas, and he won't hear. And God forbid you suggest anything else, he won't be. He won't be a part of it. Oh, he was on for 5 minutes. I'm not going to go out of my way for that. Stern was telling Beetle that he's stunning and brave. That sounds about right. Yeah. See, I feel like I get more laughs out of listening to like early 2000s Beetlejuice. When he was on the set of Bubble Boy or something like that. Not modern. Yeah, I pictured Ted Nugent. I even picture like Tammy Faye, like all these, and Trump. Like I picture like in my head, I picture Trump from like some gaudy like Mar-a-Lago like desk, that has like gold things on the side, and he's just like sitting there watching Perry with a smirk on his face. Perry's your favorite human these days. Wow. I don't know if I could say the same, but that's really cool. I did one of my favorite things from tonight, aside from the merch commercial, of course, was there was a little quick moment that was very honest, where a couple of comments came in that just said, "Merry Christmas, Perry. Thank you for a great year. Thank you for, whatever." And I think it was, it said something like, I think the comment said, "Thank you for, it feels good to say Merry Christmas to you." And he said, "Merry Christmas." And I think the person asked him, "Does it feel good to celebrate?" And he said, he legitimately said Merry Christmas. And then he said, "Yeah, it does feel good to say that. It feels good to say Merry Christmas." And it was like a genuine thing that he said that I thought was like, it was really quick and kind of almost under his breath, but that made me smile. I forget who asked, was I a genuine Trump supporter, or was that just a Twitter thing? No, I was not, but I was an anti-Hillary. I definitely anti-Hillary. So in that sense, yes, I was pro-Trump, because I would have voted for voted for anybody against Hillary. Anybody, like if Osama bin Laden ran, I would have voted for him and wore a "Death to the West" shirt. So it was more about who he was running against than him himself. Am I really going to help him finance a truck? Fuck no, not that truck. Because what I said on the air tonight is true. This is the worst time to be buying a car. And I know, and I speak from experience, because I need a car. Desperately need a car. And you can't. The used market is jacked up. Forget about a new car. Leases, forget about getting a decent. You're not getting any lease deal right now because they got you by the balls. It's there's a whole thing about it. You listen to people that are in the car business. It's not a buyer's market at all. So yeah, it's not. It's just not a fun. It's not a fun time. Not a fun time to be in the car market. So no, there's no way. Will I say Licorice Pizza? Maybe, but I don't like the trailer. I think all the marketing in the trailer is getting by with the Life on Mars song, which I feel has been pretty much done in other movies and other media, and I feel like they're really hammering that home. And I'm like, I'm not going to go see this movie because you got a great song in the trailer. So I have to hear how it is from other people I trust. But yeah, I just, when Perry whined about his truck tonight, I know. He wants me to get him a truck, but he'll turn down a mattress. So crazy. It's so Perry. Yeah, the used market's been fucked for years. That is true, but it's never been more fucked than it is right now. So, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Steve said, the other films have kind of taken ownership of Life on Mars, and I feel like no, you know, pick another song that's been taken. So that's how I feel about it. Yeah, and I agree, Tony. Hunky Dory is Bowie's best album. Bowie's best album is Hunky Dory, and I don't say that lightly, but yeah, Hunky Dory is a great album. Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. You know, I'm not a truck guy. I don't even know what 4Runner means. I just know that they're excessively expensive. Everything is fucked right now to me. Yes, I agree with that. Everything is fucked right now. Yeah, he says he needs it. He needs the 4Runner. Yeah. Yeah. Everybody needs a 4Runner because it's just the best thing ever. And 1337 is pronounced Anleet. Yeah. Well, then say Anleet because I'm not going to remember that. But shout outs to AN 1337. That's pretty much the way I've committed to saying it. Is it the real Tony Hawk waxing? Well, you'll just have to find out Christmas Eve on Patreon. I forget the length. Let me see what the length is on this thing. I think I've whittled it down pretty good. See if I can open it. Hold on one second. I hate when people do that. I'm sorry for all the blowing and things like that. That must be really annoying to listen to. Perry's Brazilian wax from September 17th. Right now I got it at 41 minutes and 51 seconds. I'll probably whittle that down a little bit. I'm at a point here where Perry's penis is completely exposed. I'm not going to show it. Let me see if I can... I'll play some audio. You can see what I'm talking about. Well, you won't see what I'm talking about, but yeah, this is one of his big rips. This is a rip where, when I mean rip is like Tony Hawk's like peeling the thing off of his body, and the sock goes flying. So let me see. I don't know if you'll be able to hear this.
Fucking. Please. Ow! 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 Ow!
Oh shit! Sorry.
Ow! Ow! Ow!
That hurt.
Ow!
Pull. Oh, that's right. So I keep forgetting that. I'm thinking about not hurting, and I gotta remember.
You're doing fine.
There's a process. Okay, there's a process.
The visual is so.
All right.
You gotta give credit to Tony Hawk.
This is it. Ready? Oh, that was the ticket.
Ow!
That's the ticket. All right.
You don't need to touch the legs anymore.
One more on the legs?
No more on the legs.
All right, one more on the legs.
No more on these legs.
All right. Anyway, you get the idea. It's different. It's a different video. But yeah, it's crazy. There's a weird casualness to Perry in it, and then there's times where he barks, but it's Yeah, Tony gets in there. Tony's. You'll see. Tony really is hands on. It's insane. It's just, yeah. And Garrett was, and Garrett was there filming, of course. So, yeah, that'll be. If you missed the announcement, I'm gonna do my best to get that up Christmas Eve when the stream ends. I'll publish it right away. Yeah, so you can watch it with your families, like as you're having Christmas Eve dinner or exchanging presents. Just have that on in the background. Yeah, and it's weird. I joke around with like having seen Perry's penis quite a bit, but I can pick it out of a lineup. Like it's like there's a darker shade on his penis. There's a pigment. I don't know. I guess some guys have this. Not that I know personally, but there's like some guys that just have like a darker pigment on their junk, and Perry definitely has that. And it always weirds me out. Like it's not like crazy dark, but it's definitely a few shades darker than his regular pigment. But yeah, I can pick it. Like you give me 12 of them on a screen. You got to pick which one's Perry's. I'm nailing it every time because I've seen it so much. You would think I'm desensitized to it, but I was definitely not. Am I staying warm? Kind of, sort of. I'm just dressing layers. I'm trying to get this stupid room finished in January. It's the Italian pigment. Yeah, that's possible. Stained from dirty hands. I mean, I don't know. I'm sorry. Look, guys, if you're grossed out by this talk, this video is not for you. Because, I'm going through this thing, like, you're seeing his butt. You're getting in there, and good on Perry for allowing this. But I'm just trying to see if there's any other major things here.
You know who I was?
Who did you hurt on the second floor that they needed to help?
I didn't hurt anybody on the second floor. They just had.
How did you know the person they were here to see was on the second floor?
They just made a remark
He's
that they
having
wanted
this conversation,
to get
by the way, with
to
his penis
201 or something like that. Somebody on the second floor.
Oh, and then they were like, Perry?
But they complimented me on my stream. Ow! Hey!
Oh, that's right.
Fucking
Sorry.
hey, man!
Sorry. I thought it was...
Anyway, yeah. I guess, will it be uncensored? I mean, I'm blurring out his actual penis. Like that part. But there's parts where you see other areas. You're going to see his butt. You're not going to see his butthole necessarily, but you're going to see his butt. You're going to see his ball sack. You're going to see part of his shaft. Shout out to Shaft. You're gonna see things, okay? But yeah, like I've blurred out what I could. Will there be an uncensored version? Maybe, if there's enough demand for it, yes. But I think this will be all you need. Hannah says, I know it, totally know it's not for you. No, they don't wax his asshole, Hannah. You don't have to worry about that. No, it's really his chest. And like the side of his legs, a little bit on his butt, a little bit of the taint area is done, but you don't get up close and personal with that. You really don't. But yeah, Hannah, if you want, I'll give you an audio only version of it. In fact, maybe I'll just upload that to Twitter, maybe to Patreon. Maybe the audio only version for people that really just don't want to watch. Put the PCL logo. No, I'm using the traditional blur, the traditional old school blur. Is Tony coming over for New Year's Eve? Yes, and Mrs. Hawk. Perry doesn't really know that yet, but yes, he's going to be there for the microwave smash. Yeah. No, I told it's not for me either. It's not for me. Honestly, it's not for me either. And it's really just for the guys that paid Perry to do it. Perry was paid $1,000 to do this. Now, obviously, some of that money went to Garrett, and also I made sure some went to Tony because Tony deserves some hazard pay for sure. But yeah, and we were legitimate. Like, this was supposed to be a TomB week thing, because we were. That's when forgive me, I forget the guy's name that eventually initially sent in the offer to get Perry waxing. But we tried to find a legit place to do it. Nobody would let us film, and then nobody wanted to come to Perry's place to be filmed, and then it was getting. It was getting more and more, and then we just said, hey, you know what? I think I had sent a message to Tony Hawk, and I said, hey, how would you feel about waxing Perry? And he was super cool with it. Will you ever meet Sheila Falcone on PCL? Probably not, unless she changes her mind. She really doesn't want to be on camera in any way. She was on the phone once, because she called Perry while he was streaming. But yeah, I've asked her numerous times, even offered her money. The person I am looking to get is Linda Johnson, for possibly New Year's Eve, but that's going to be tough. I'm going to get her eventually, but I'm trying to get her for New Year's Eve. Can we do a subscriber Saturday for New Year's Eve? Yeah, I think we'll do the same thing that we did last year. Is maybe Perry calls somebody from different time zones as we get there. I do want Perry to call some PCL staff. I want Perry to call Joey. I want Perry to call Scott. Garrett's going to be there. Yeah, so we'll do some kind of call thing on New Year's Eve. It probably won't hit it as hard as we do on Subscriber Sunday. Yeah, apparently Sheila was over today and was really freaked out by the boat. It was like, he was like, even Sheila said, what the fuck are you doing with a big boat in your kitchen? And I felt so mortified and disgusted. Any chance of getting the real Randy to call in? He was going to make a live appearance once, but he went too much money. That's not true. Whoever said that is not mistaken. I had the idea of a long time ago getting the real Randy, because I've spoken to the real Randy, and getting him to do a live event, kind of like a town hall with Perry. And it would be, that never panned out. It wasn't because of money. So I don't know who's floating that. But there's a couple of problems there. Okay, the guy who said that is full of it. And I think the guy who said that also takes credit for the idea. And he's mistaken. It was not his idea. It was mine. And let's just say he was very eager to do it. But here's the problem that I have with that is Randy is legitimately a bad person. He's not a good guy, and in that kind of scenario, you're basically pushing him out there as a good guy in a way where he'd be telling his side of the story, which I know would be fascinating to a lot of people, but he's legit done some things that are not too cool, and I me personally, I don't know how I'd feel about. It's kind of a moral dilemma. Let's put it that way, where if you're putting him out there in any way, you're almost. I wouldn't want to. You're doing it under the guise of humor in a way, and you're making light of some stuff that he legitimately did. And I don't feel cool with that necessarily. So it's a conflict that I have, but I know he's eager because I've definitely been in touch with him. I should at least call and get his side. Because he's offered that. Just from my own curiosity. But he's not a. Yeah, he's done some legit sleazy things, and I feel like if we put him out there, let's say he even did a live event, right, where he's invited, and he speaks his piece, and him and Perry have a, back and forth or something like that. First of all, you have to get a team of security to hold Perry back, But the only way to play it would be to have Perry have this Randy guy get like all the applause and people buying him, or people want to take pictures with him and stuff. And I understand that. I understand the desire to want to go down that road, as Perry would say. But I don't know. I'd have to really look into it. It's not an easy call. But as far as like him like Skyping in or something like that, the real guy, maybe, maybe. Like look at the look on his face tonight, Perry's face when he saw that clip. I mean, it would be. I mean, yeah, I'd fear for Perry himself, and I'd fear for everybody around him. But yeah, I'd have to investigate. Like, as Perry says that thing about how he spent time in jail, and I've only heard that secondhand, but I've looked into a couple of things, and I'm just like, ugh, I don't want to give this guy any play. I think it's better off as this mythical person, and I know a lot of people are over the 92 thing. I'm definitely one of them, but you set your sail to the winds of whatever the trending desire is of your audience in a way, and a lot of people seem to like it, and I think he's better off as more of a mystery than if you actually talk to him. And there's something sad about looking at him now too. He's older, and I don't know. So we can go on and on about that. But there's definitely reasons to do something like that, but I think there's more reasons against it. Yeah, Randy is the Joker, better to be left unknown. That's a good way to put it, Curtis. I've never seen that Entertainment Tonight clip. I know Perry's talked about it. I've never seen it, and that's why I don't trust Perry as a narrator necessarily. But I know there's definitely other things that I looked into that he had done. Because he just seems like this sweet old man when he's on that other thing, and I've seen on his social media he comes off as this sweet old man. But yeah, ever reached out to Brother Brian? No, absolutely not. No, I wouldn't want to reach out to Brian. Do I have an end game for Perry? I don't even know what that means. Do I want our graves side by side? No, but you know what? Perry, look, I've committed myself to Perry a long time ago. Perry's somebody who needs looking after, obviously, and I've committed to riding that horse for as long as it goes, and that's what it is. So, yeah. Oh, you mean in comparison, like Hannah, you're saying that Perry looked better than Randy? Yeah, I think Randy's older than Perry, though, considerably. Oh, you've seen the entertainment piece. Send it to me if you have that. Send it to me. I'd like to see it. It's unfortunate that it's hard to find clips, because I've even, like, in other areas I've looked for things like news clips and stuff. Really, anything that's happened in the past 15 years is relatively easy to find, because a lot of people are like recording things or capturing things. Before the digital age, very hard to find like obscure like episodes of things like that. You'd be interested to know what Brian is like. I think Brian is like a guy that just wants nothing to do with Perry. Oh, thanks, Brennan. He says, much respect to me for caring for a human this much. Well, I think we all care about Perry, though, right? I mean, I don't. That's like, the snowboarding thing. We have a good time with it, but I'm legitimately concerned about him going up by himself. Legitimately concerned. So if it has to come down to playing the virus card, I will. Maybe Mole can stop by on 420. I don't see Mole being interested in doing that. I know there's always people in the chat that say I love Perry, and then there's always a couple that say I hate Perry, legitimately. So The finale of PCL needs to feature the real Amy. I think that would be a crushing disappointment. I think Amy, even more so than Randy, is much better as the stream version of Amy, not the real version of Amy. So many unaired pilots out. Yeah, I know, DJ. Totally, that is so my bag, is unaired pilots from like the 70s and 80s specifically, and maybe even the 60s. And again, if I owned a thing like Netflix, that's all I would do is buy up these like really raid the archives of all these studios, and I'd get up I'd have a whole channel dedicated to unaired pilots. That's totally my wheelhouse of shit. I would watch. I would just watch hours and hours and hours of unaired pilots. And I know there's a lot of them on YouTube and stuff, but there's some real gems like locked away, just like that are just gonna rot forever. Yeah, Blank says boosters are not guaranteed against Omicron. Perry should stay home. I agree. I mean, again, not even being a jerk. Like, why would he go, whatever that drive is, 3 hours out of his way, he's going to be mingling with people. Why would you put yourself in that? Because he's so spiteful, because he wants to spite us. That's what it is. What are the chances of a DSP phone call? Right now it seems a bit slim. Well, I will say Dr. Gunk, credit Dr. Gunk, Dr. Gunk put out a legitimate offer to DSP to call into the stream, and he has yet to respond. And what I mean by a legitimate offer, I mean a very healthy financial offer. And you know how much Phil loves money and is always begging people. So I'm surprised he hasn't responded, because he was given the email for the stream. And I was told by Dr. Gunk to look out for an email from the real DSP. But I guess the offer either wasn't good enough, which I'd be surprised because it was a good offer, or he, couldn't bring himself to do it because he hates Perry so much. He hates the Perry talk so much. Like he'll just, even if he gets a whiff of somebody in his chat that mentions Perry, you're completely gone. Harry says, I hope Perry never goes snowboarding because it's funny to hear him so sure he's going to go. I know. I think I said that last week where I was, just pushing it back, It's like, we'll eventually get to the point in March where the season's over and like Thanksgiving Day, I'm in the snow, and then we'll just start all over again, On a subject of old TV, I want to revisit Columbo. Any favorite episodes? Talking about Columbo, it's one of my favorite shows, and I still watch it now. You got to stick with the original '70s run. There's a couple of there's many episodes they did like when they brought it back, like in the late '80s and well into the '90s. The last episode of Columbo was 2002, which is a long stretch. There's some good gems in those, but stick with the '70s. My favorite episode is, I know the name of the episode. It's called. I think it's called Any Port in the Storm. And Donald Pleasance, who played, what's his name? The guy from Halloween. I forget the character's name. Loomis, Dr. Loomis from the Halloween movies. Before Halloween, he plays this obsessive wine connoisseur that owns this very fancy, wine. What do you call it? Winery? Not wine. What do you call the place where you go to sample wine? I'm not a wine guy, but anyway, orchard, whatever. And he has his own brand, and he has a step brother who also owns part of the business, and there's a conflict there. He kills the brother. Now it's not a spoiler because all the murders are done within the first couple of minutes of each episode. So there's the whole play with Columbo and the killer is always important to any Columbo episode. This one's the best because I like the episodes of Columbo where Columbo kind of has an affection for the killer, even though they know Columbo knows this person killed Vineyard. Thank you, Vineyard. So that's what I meant. Yeah. I'm not a wine guy, but I knew there was a word for it. So it's a great episode, and Pleasance is great. Falk is great. It's the best one, and I'd say it'd be a mistake if you made it your first Columbo. Like watch a couple others, and it's got the best ending out of any Columbo. And it's not spoiling it to say that Columbo, figures out that he did it and he catches him. But there's this great moment at the end of the episode where he's found out, and it doesn't matter how and why Columbo figures it out. But the whole thing about Columbo is, all the killers underestimate him. They think he's some schlub, but of course he's very smart. And he's putting things together. And Patrick McGoohan is one of the best all-time Columbo killers. I think he was only in one of the 90s one. He was the one where he played the mortician, and Rue McClanahan was his victim. That's one of the better later ones. But McGoohan's also in a number, I think two episodes in the 70s. But anyway, so at the very end of the episode with Donald Pleasance, Columbo takes him. They're in Columbo's like Peugeot car, like piece of shit car, and they're sitting down in the car together, and they share a glass of wine. Like Columbo pours him a glass of wine, and gives him that dignity. He's definitely going to be booked. And Columbo found out how he did it and everything like that. But there's this. It's just a great moment where like the episode ends and Donald Pleasance isn't putting on an act anymore, and they share the wine. And also Columbo learns about wine throughout the episode, so that's another plot point. And I'm not spoiling it by saying that. The problem is that ending was so popular that Columbo tried to do that. The show Columbo, not the character. Columbo tried to do that with other bad guys, and it didn't always quite work. Like where he has a special moment with the killer at the end, or they do something. And you can see it again in the Johnny Cash episode. I forget the name of it. I forget the name of the episode. Johnny Cash plays the killer. That's another great one. But it's very similar, where Columbo and him have a kind of a special moment at the end because Columbo likes him. There's a couple of killers where Columbo just flat out doesn't like the killer, and you won't get that. But there's one in particular that where it so doesn't work, and it's the one with Louis Jourdan, who, if you know who he is, he played the bad guy in Octopussy, the Bond movie. He's in one of the Swamp Thing movies. He's very, very good, very accomplished actor. But anyway, he plays a chef, like a fancy like TV chef that kills a guy. And he's nasty. He's a bad dude, and there's no real endearment to that Columbo has for him. He's just kind of curious about him. And at the end of the episode, I'm going to spoil this one. I'm sorry. I mean, the show's like, it's almost 50 years old, but basically, Louis Jourdan, the character, is basically trying to kill Columbo. He's trying to poison his food. That's how he killed the original guy that he killed. I'll save how he's going to poison him. And then Columbo figures it out, and they're in a kitchen together. They're in a restaurant, and Columbo sits down and enjoys the meal. And they, after he's been busted, he's like he shares the meal, and they're trying to capture the ending for any point in the storm with Donald Pleasance, which works so well in an episode where it doesn't work at all. And I just found that a little weird. So not all episodes work. Because I just feel like sometimes Columbo hits on something. The show Columbo hits on a trend or something that really works. And then they try to use that same thing in other episodes. And I'm like, oh, this worked in that one. It doesn't work in this one. That's a prime example. But there's a couple other good ones. So there's one with Ruth Gordon. That's excellent. And she's another sympathetic. I have a deference to the sympathetic killers, and Columbo really likes her. And also like there's a Robert Culp episode where he is like a he's like a private eye guy, and it's good. Oh, Sheba said started rewatching Terriers after our chat. Yeah, I haven't seen Terriers since it originally aired, but I'd be curious to see how it holds up. I'm glad it holds up. That's a disappointment that never got more seasons. That was a great show. That was the show that Sean Ryan did. Sean Ryan's the guy that did The Shield, which is a great show. And when that ended, that was, I think, his next show. And for whatever reason, it didn't work out. But yeah, that's another good show. But I live in that comfort area, like that comfort zone of like, if I want to watch something, and I don't have a ton of energy, but I just kind of, I'll put on a 90-minute Columbo or something. There's 90-minute episodes and there's 2-hour episodes. Obviously without commercials. And I think the 90-minute ones work best. The 2-hour Columbos seem a little padded. That's just my one man's opinion, of course. If I could only hire Monk or Columbo to find the killer of a loved one, who would I choose? That's a great question, and I love both shows. And I really wish that there could have been a Monk Columbo crossover. I would go with Monk. Because Monk he's obsessive compulsive, and he Swan Song. Thank you. The Johnny Cash episode is called Swan Song. Very good. I feel Columbo works best on the clues given to him, and the killer is usually like, he figures it out right away. But Monk does a little bit of a deeper dive into the investigation. So to answer that question, I would want Monk on the case, I think. And that's another comfort show I'll watch every now and again. If I'm just like, I just want to like eat dinner and watch TV, and I don't want to have to pay attention too much, I'll put that on. It's on Amazon Prime. Fletch is only good for that one movie. I hate that sequel. Fletch Lives. But yeah, I really don't really enjoy that procedural television too much. Like that's really, it's Columbo, Monk, and maybe one or two others. But there are other shows that are like that had like, a detective solving a case or whatever. Very few and far between ones that I like. Wheezy says, what's the sexiest actress from the 70s, 80s, 90s that I ever saw on Columbo? I'll tell you who was really, I can't think of her name. She was in the one with Eddie Albert. Very popular actress. And it's nobody that I would ever really look twice at. Suzanne Pleshette, because I've always seen her as she was older, but Suzanne Plechette's in a very early Columbo with Eddie Albert. I think it's called Dead Weight, and she's very pretty in it, and she's young and very pretty, and just classic beauty. And because again, I only kind of knew her as older actress with like a very husky voice. She was very good, but I'm trying to think who. There's a couple of. It's not necessarily a show that has a lot of like attractive leading ladies. It's really just all about Peter Falk. Although there's a couple of really good ones that have the female killer. Yeah, that's right. I forgot Plechette's in The Birds too. I just know Suzanne Pleshette because I would always watch Oh God 2 with George Burns, and she played like the mom, and she was kind of old, but I just kind of looked at her as a mom, and she had that like heavy smoker's voice by then, and not exactly something that you would look up to. As like a beauty that as a kid that you'd be like, oh wow, she's really gorgeous, but as a younger actress, like really. Yeah, George Burns was good as God, and I like those two. I'll tell you what, I actually like all three Oh God movies because it's just funny to see George Burns play God. Like Oh God with John Denver is fine. It's very good. It's probably the best one. The sequel, oh god, it's called Book Two, and I've seen all these because they were just always on TV when I was growing up. The sequel with the little girl is really good, and oh god, you devil is great because he plays the devil too, and that's great. It's a good trilogy. I would watch. It's funny. I haven't seen those in years. I would watch that again. It's such a especially the first one is such a 70s movie. Would never ever ever be made today. But yeah, those are good. I'm trying to think of anybody other females on Columbo, but yeah, I over the pandemic, I watched a crap ton of them. I rewatched a lot of Columbos. The Gods Must Be Crazy are better than the Oh God movies. I disagree, but I also enjoy those. But those are good too. And isn't that subtitled? It's subtitled too. I hate reading. I hate reading when watching a movie. I know that sounds like the height of ignorance, but I hate reading. I hate reading subtitles. Oh, haven't seen it on cinema, but there's a great running joke with "Oh God." That would get me interested in watching it. Oh God's one of those movies where I'll look up the trivia on like IMDb and like savor all the little nuggets about like how, like the behind the scenes stuff. Columbo is free on Tubi. Okay, yeah. What? Look, you're not gonna go wrong with any episode of Columbo. That's not true. There's a couple of flat out bad ones. Most episodes you're not gonna go wrong with, and it's very endearing. If you've never seen Columbo, it's a very endearing show because there's no like it's not like Law and Order, like sex crimes or whatever they call it, criminal intent, where there's like crazy crimes. They're all like it's not violent. Columbo hates guns. There's an innocence to them of a bygone era that's you probably couldn't get away with now. Not that it does anything bad. But it's just more innocent time that television has moved on from. Columbo Matlock crossover. I don't think that would have worked, but they did do what was it, Matlock and what was that Dick Van Dyke show? The Dick Van Dyke prescription, was it not prescription murder? It was like there was some Dick Van Dyke show where he was a medical investigator, and they did a crossover with Matlock and him on multiple occasions, and those were kind of fun. I did watch Matlock. I will say I do enjoy Matlock. Not as much as Columbo, but I do enjoy Matlock. I liked how cheap I like the running joke that Matlock was really cheap. Was it Diagnosis Murder? That was okay. I was right. Okay, Diagnosis Murder. And I didn't watch that show. I only watched it when it was a crossover. I was in I was in school at the time, and I was watching things that were like for people in their 70s. Yeah, Falk's great in the Sunshine Boys. Falk had a great film career actually. He's also great in The In-Laws. Obviously, the original In-Laws with Alan Arkin, fantastic. If you like Pump Up the Volume, don't rewatch. We agree with the parents now. That's true for a lot of things, though, Sheba. I mean, I liked Pump Up the Volume when it came out, kind of. I liked the soundtrack more than the movie. I remember having the soundtrack, and I really liked the soundtrack more than the movie itself. But that's true with everything. That's true with Ferris Bueller, too. You can't look at Ferris... I mean, maybe you can. I side with Principal Rooney now. When I look at Ferris Bueller, I'm like, oh, what a brat! Like, I just root for him to get caught now. And when I was a kid watching it, I was like, oh my God, Ferris Bueller, he's so cool, and he did all this stuff. He's just a spoiled, entitled brat now. When you look at it, and I'm like, man, I know I've seen this movie before, but man, I hope Rooney catches him. I'm rooting for Principal Rooney and his dopey parent and Ferris's dopey parents to get a dose of reality to be like, yeah, come on. That's a movie I can't watch anymore. I can't watch it. I probably wouldn't be able to watch. Because you wouldn't. You just want to smack Christian Slater around at this point. And you know, if you don't know, Pump of the Volume is this movie about like some guy in high school. He moves into a new town. He's a shy guy, but then he starts a pirate radio station. It's annoying. Angela Lansbury may be the only woman to be on a murder mystery actress on par with those other shows. That's very true. And Murder, She Wrote was written by the same people who wrote Columbo. So they are related in that way. Murder, She Wrote had the same creators. Yeah, the actor who plays Prince Rooney, we're not talking about him. I mean, yeah, he's definitely, from what I've heard, he's a bad dude. Like, he's not good. He also played the newspaper guy in Deadwood. I forget the actor's name. I'm sure somebody will know it. But, yeah, not that I'm rooting for the actor, rooting for the character in that situation. Yeah, I think he got busted with some kind of, like, child sex thing. Yeah, it is. I forget what it was. It might have been something. I forget the details. I don't want to say because I forget the details. But it was something. Yeah, Rooney did a Callahan. Regarding Columbo, there's something I hate so much, and that's the running joke of the show created Mrs. Columbo. Oh, yo, that's terrible. That's terrible. Well, what happened with Mrs. Columbo is Mrs. Columbo was you know, Perry. Columbo would always talk about his wife, Mrs. Columbo, but you'd never see her. And some people even like doubted, like, because Columbo would always talk about his relatives or something. Jeffrey Jones, thank you. So, and some people wondered, oh, does he even have a wife? Of course, he probably did. But when Peter Falk was notoriously difficult to work with during Columbo, like he got to be more and more of a control freak, and it was getting expensive to produce, even though it was very well rated. Now, it wasn't a weekly series either. Columbo was what's called a wheel show, and a wheel show is they had these like the NBC Sunday Night Mystery, and they'd also have Macmillan and Wife. So basically, Columbo would be on once a month because the other 3 weeks were different shows. So it was so basically you're spinning the wheel and then it would land on Columbo. That's why they call it a wheel show. So it wasn't like a show that had like 30 episodes a season. Falk didn't want to do that. He only agreed to it because it was a short, there would only be like 6 episodes in a season, let's say. But I forget I guess it went 7 seasons, and he was just being not a prick, but he was just being difficult, and he was expensive. And I think the network foolishly thought that they could just they could cancel Columbo and just do a Mrs. Columbo show. And they got Kate Mulgrew, who was Captain Janeway in Voyager, to play the part. And boy, it just didn't work. It was a disaster. Total disaster. And to the point where the show, I think, had at least some kind of weird following because, it was just, I guess Kate Mulgrew was good in it. And then they basically dropped the whole Mrs. Columbo angle. I know Peter Falk was furious about it. Everybody associated with Columbo was furious that the network did this with the show. But then I think in the second season they changed the name of the show. It wasn't called Mrs. Columbo anymore. It was called Kate Loves a Mystery. And the whole thing about Kate Columbo, and they dropped her last name, and they dropped any reference to her being married to Peter Falk. But it was just a disaster. But she was a newspaper reporter that got involved in murder mysteries. And I think it had 2 seasons. The second season completely dropped the initial concept, and they just changed the title of the show. But of course, it didn't work. It was canceled. So I don't know how many episodes there were, but at least see, it's not quite Hogan Family because Hogan Family is a different thing. Hogan Family is still the same show, just they basically just let go the lead because she was asking for too much money. Columbo they ended and then started a new show. But borrowing heavily from that initial present. Just not good. And Kate Mulgrew is a really good actress, and she was probably good. Yeah, it was called Kate Loves a Mystery. Was the rebranded title of the show, and I don't know if it was ever in syndication, if they just called it that all the way through. But I remember seeing the opening of the show, like when it was Mrs. Columbo, and like you'd see the car, Columbo's car, in the driveway, and like his cigar in the ashtray, and she'd be like, you know, leaving the house. So basically, like, hey, this is definitely Columbo's wife. You look it up on YouTube, you can see the opening. It's pretty cringeworthy. But yeah, it's just yeah. And then they eventually, like, over I think one of the main producers of Columbo had passed away in the 80s, but the other producer was still alive. And then, like, 10 years later, I think like in 88, they brought Columbo back. But Peter Falk had way more creative control in the 80s and 90s episodes, much to its detriment, because they went a lot for laughs in those episodes. And I'm only speaking as a Columbo purist, where, you know, Columbo would be caught up in a parade or something like that, and they make a whole, like, it had nothing to do with the episode, it had nothing to do with the mystery going on, but Columbo would be trying to cross the street and you know, get hustled into a parade. I'm making something up, but it would be something like this. And he'd start dancing with, like, somebody dressed up as a leprechaun or something like that, and you get a cute laugh out of it, which is something that the 70s show wouldn't do. They'd be like little genuine moments where Columbo would be in a humorous situation and be like a fish out of water. But man, they really hit it hard with the revival episodes, and you can really see it when you watch them now. It's like they're fine. They're a lot of them are very good, but they don't compare to the 70s episodes. What kind of cigars did he smoke? He smoked really cheap cigars, like the cheapest ever. And every now and again, Columbo would come. Most of the people that were murderers were rich people, and then once in a while, one of the rich people would offer him like a real, like, fancy cigar, and he would enjoy that. But I don't know if they ever gave the brand of cigars he smoked, but it was always known that they were as cheap as you can get, really shit, like really bad cigars. Curtis had asked me a while ago, I forgot, I just see this on the screen now, my top 5 favorite movies of all time. It's very, very basic shit for somebody my age. I'm going to go Empire Strikes Back number 1, Star Wars number 2, Raiders of the Lost Ark number 3. Number 4, I'm going to go with Superman the movie. And 5 would be the Jaws. And then almost a tie for number 5. It's probably number 6, but a tie for number 5 would be Back to the Future. The original, I don't really give a shit about the sequels. With those very basic bitch top 5, I don't have any art house movies or anything like that. There's no, it's very basic bitch for me. What I grew up with and what I have affinities for. Somebody asked about modding the Nintendo 64. Well, I don't know anything about. It's really what you do with the Nintendo 64 is there's people you can mod it yourself. There's kits, like HDMI kits. You'd have to know soldering. I don't, so I would send it. There's a lot of people. There's like websites you go to where you can send it to somebody that'll modify it for you. And what modding the Nintendo 64 does is it basically bypasses. You have this video card chip that goes in, that gets modded into there. That's the digital chip. It bypasses the analog filter on the Nintendo 64, so you get a pure digital signal. Because in the Nintendo 64 as it is now, it goes digital to analog output to your TV because it's meant for like CRTVs. But this mod makes it pure digital, so it makes the picture a lot stronger, but there's also software that you can apply to it within the mod to make it look like, have scan lines and stuff. I don't get into that. But there's and then there's different boards to do it. I think there's one now called the N64 HDMI, something like that. I was looking at that. You got to buy the chipset, of course, like everything else. Very hard to come across these chips, so you got to get them when they come in stock. So they're completely out of stock. My favorite Beatles songs. I like later Beatles more than early Beatles. The I Want to Hold Your Hand stuff, I'm not so. It's fine, but really, I'm Revolver and Up with Beatles. I don't know if I have a favorite. It's not easy to emulate the N64. That's the whole point of owning a Nintendo 64. There's so many Nintendo 64 games that are very hard or almost impossible to emulate. So the whole point of having original hardware. Now, I'm not going to go out and buy cartridges, but there's an EverDrive cartridge you can get where you put it in the cartridge slot. You just get an SD card loaded with every game, and it plays the ROMs like it's an actual cartridge. So you're playing on the original hardware, but you could still get the feeling of emulation. That's the only reason I wanted a Nintendo 64. Is the Nintendo 64 is notoriously difficult to emulate. Even on the Switch, the few games they have on there, a lot of them have a lot of problems. You can't go wrong with Let It Be. Can't go wrong with Let It Be. Yeah, and the controllers don't work either. So, and there's some really good third party people that do Nintendo 64 controllers that are wireless that'll work with the original hardware. You plug in the base into the control port, and you could play it. You could play it wirelessly, so that's good, and better controllers because the controllers for the Nintendo 64 suck. So. So yeah, it's just a very it's a very thing, and it's weird. I did a deep dive on this. Not that this is going to be interesting to anybody. With Nintendo in emulation for the 64, is I remember having the Wii, and the Wii had that store. It was like, what was it called? The Virtual Console store, where they had all these consoles, and all the games worked really well. And I think on the Wii U as well, but they worked better on the Wii. Nintendo 64 games. So you can play Mario Kart 64, Super Mario 64, Ocarina of Time, whatever game was available. They didn't have a crazy catalog. It was mainly first-party titles for licensing, but like Star Fox 64, of course. And they played really well. And what I learned is the guy that developed the emulation for the Wii Virtual Console, he basically built an emulator for each individual Nintendo 64 game because the Nintendo 64 is very hard to emulate. One generic emulator is not going to cover them all. So each game, and because of the complications with the Nintendo 64 hardware, each game had to be modified, built with its own emulator. So somebody says it right here, Microwave Brigade. They had some guy programming emulators for every single game pack. So they worked really well. The problem is the guy doesn't work for Nintendo anymore. So now that Nintendo's putting these games out on the Switch, I expected the same level of accuracy that they had on the Wii. Because if you play, let's say Mario Kart, there's a lot of problems. And I played Mario Kart 64 on the on the Switch, in the expansion pack, and it's excuse me, it's there's little glitches I noticed. The visuals are not quite there, but anyway, so this guy that did all this emulation building early on, they don't use that anymore. So now they have one generic emulator for all these Nintendo 64 games that are coming out on the Switch. And, to mixed results. Sometimes it'll be fine, sometimes it'll be not so much. But none of them are perfect. But if you play on original hardware, you can get the EverDrive, which is just a blank cartridge with an SD card slot. And you put the micro SD card in. You can load up any games you want on there, and it'll play it like original hardware. And it'll be perfect. Unlike The only thing you're missing out on, which is great to have on the Switch, is online capability. It's great to play Nintendo Super Mario 64 online, or if they ever get GoldenEye, to play that online. That's gonna be amazing. So that's my that's the reason why I want the original hardware. Yeah, I know. There's machines that claim they can do, they can run anything, but not quite Nintendo 64. No, I never played Paperboy 64. I always hated Paperboy as a series. I never liked. I hated Paperboy on every platform. In the arcade, I hated it on Nintendo. I hated every iteration and sequel. But yeah, the EverDrive, it costs a little bit of money. I think it's like $150 or something like that, and there's an official site for it. Now you can get Chinese knockoffs of the EverDrive for much cheaper. Don't bother with them. Get the actual EverDrive, and you can play any game you ever wanted to. You just got to have the ROM. You got to figure out how to download the ROMs, which are not that easy to find. And you can also play hacked ROMs too, which opens up another whole gateway. So you can, like, there's people that just do hacks of like Mario 64. And it's a completely different game. You can play that on there too. And yeah, that's a super. That's a great point. Chomsky says that you have the EverDrive for the Sega Genesis because emulators don't quite get that Yamaha synth. It's true. You can't, as good as emulators are for the Sega Genesis, they don't nail the soundtracks as perfectly as the original hardware. That's not as huge of a deal for me, so I'll use an emulator for Genesis. And pretty much anything else, like Super Nintendo, blah, 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 they could all be emulated perfectly. Sega does have that issue with the sound, and that's a good move to have the EverDrive for that. GoldenEye 64 is the only reason you started watching Bond movies, and GoldenEye is still your favorite Bond movie. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, I know that was a big deal. That game was such a big deal, and like to be able to play it again, it is going to be great. I literally just got the 64, so I'm still in the process of looking up like modifying. But yeah, and they make an EverDrive for any cartridge-based system. You can get an EverDrive for the NES if you want to play on original NES hardware. You just want to load up ROMs and play it on hardware. It's not emulated. Same thing for Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis, as mentioned. But yeah, it's a good thing. Yeah, Perfect Dark was another one I played the crap out of. I think I played Perfect Dark more than I played GoldenEye. 'Cause I always viewed Perfect Dark as a more perfected version of GoldenEye. Oh, yeah, I remember the Daniel Craig version of GoldenEye coming out. I think I bought it for the PlayStation 3 at the time, and I don't think I ever opened it. Because I know they slightly revised the graphics, but yeah, that's kind of a weird version of GoldenEye that came out, but it doesn't have any staying power. Nobody really remembers that version. Perfect version of GoldenEye is Time Splitters 2, made by the same. I never heard of that one. Perfect Dark was cool because it had all that sci-fi stuff, and you had better weapons in there, and I also thought when just talking about the multiplayer, better levels. I think it was more fun. I can kind of, even though it's been a good probably 20 years since I played Perfect Dark, like with friends, like where you did the multiplayer. I think I could probably still run those. I think I probably worked my way around those, like, there was the Tomb and like all these other boards. I could probably make my way through those maps fairly easily because that's how often I played it. And I think I played the main campaign once. I don't think I finished it. So I would definitely take another shot at that. I got to wrap in a second because I'm completely out of water and my throat's drying up. And I was never a PS2. I never had a PS2 or a PS1. I went. I had the Atari 2600, which I've said before I have no affinity for, nostalgia wise. The NES, Sega Genesis, the SNES, and then the 64. And I didn't get a PlayStation until the PS3, and I think I got it because it was also a Blu-ray player. Am I seeing any cute honeys? No. No, I'm not seeing any cute honeys. Are you? Are you, Brenny? Are you seeing any cute honeys? Some warm and lovable honeys to spend the holidays with? Oh man, it's getting fucking cold in here too. Let me see if I. Sorry, I gotta scroll down this thing. There was one comment I saw, I forgot about it. Blah blah blah. Oh, Brenny had said earlier, pranks on Perry are hard, even after a year of getting new reactions out of him. Are my nudging ideas to we the audience? I don't understand what you mean. And I don't look at anything we do on PCL as necessarily pranks. But yes, I try, it's hard to keep things fresh all the time, but I think one of the great things about Perry is he does react differently to different things at different times, even in the same stream. So yeah. Just your delightful gal also loves PCL. That's good. It's good that you. I know a lot of people. There's some women that are fans of PCL and their boyfriends or husbands hate it, and vice versa. Obviously, so it's cool to see when a couple actually is into it. Mumbles. Perry doesn't have a brand of PC. It was just a PC that was built out of spare parts. Actually, at a time it was made, it was prior to him streaming, and if it was during when he was streaming, it would have been more robust. Parts have been added to it. It's kind of like a Frankenstein machine over time. Like it's more memory, an older video card was donated to him, but he needs a complete redo. And GoldenEye was also the first Bond movie in almost a decade, so there was that. Yeah, I don't love GoldenEye. I like GoldenEye. I think it's Brosnan's best, but it's far from my favorite Bond movie for many reasons. I think the biggest problem with GoldenEye is that awful, awful soundtrack. It's got a terrible score that carries over into the game, but however, it does work in the game. The soundtrack works in the game. It does not work in the movie. My mother and father love Perry now. I insulate them from some of the meaner spirited stuff that comes Perry's way, but they love. Well, I try to keep the mean spirited stuff at bay as much as possible, but that's cool. Yeah, my mom and dad don't really know who Perry is. They kind of do, but they don't. And really, nobody in my family really knows what PCL is or watches Perry at all. It'd be a little weird if they did. But yeah, I'm gonna get that new build out really soon. I just got to buy a couple of things for it, and that might even be a temporary thing. Like part of me is like, do you go all out and spend an excessive amount of money on like a top of the line thing that I don't think he necessarily needs. He just needs something to get him by. He needs something that doesn't. And he does need a good video card because Skype particularly relies heavily on the video processing to process his image, which is why it doesn't look as crisp as it should. A better video card will clear that up. Yeah, GoldenEye not the best, but it's your favorite. And I respect that. Like Roger Moore, the co-inventor of snowboarding, is my favorite Bond, and I agree that he's not the best Bond, but he's my favorite. He's the Bond I grew up with. He's my favorite Bond. I enjoy rewatching Roger Moore James Bond movies than any other era of James Bond. James Bond. But I have a strong preference to Timothy Dalton though, and I feel it's a real shame that he didn't get more than just 2 films. I think he was a brilliant Bond. I would actually, if I was rich, like super rich or whatever. I know Amazon owns Bond now, in addition to the Broccoli family. But I would love for them to do now. See, it's too late to do it with Roger Moore and Sean Connery, but you could still do it with Pierce Brosnan and Timothy Dalton. While you figure out the next Bond movie, just pump out a bunch of Bond, like get some really good animation, and just have Timothy Dalton do voiceover, and do like some James Bond movies set in that era, that Dalton era, with Dalton as Bond. It'd just be animated. You can get some cool music with it. You can do the same thing for Brosnan. Yeah, I read all the Fleming novels, and I read a lot of Bond novels done by other authors. But some of them were very good. But speaking of the Fleming novels, I think Timothy Dalton is the closest to the Bond that I read in the books. As far as looks, attitude, and just demeanor and overall presence, he nails it more than any other actor. Everybody else brings their own flair to it, but I just But I would like to see more. Apparently there's a script for a third Dalton movie that was commissioned in the early '90s, and it never got made because there were legal holdups in the series, but. I would love to revisit that era specifically, but that'll never happen. That's just kind of I get very fantasy driven in my head when I get passionate about something. Like, oh, I'd like to see this, which is completely out of the realm of possibility. Like I'd like to see a Star Wars animated film that takes place between Star Wars and The Empire Strikes Back, and have Harrison Ford and Mark Hamill and all that. But of course that'll never happen. Yeah, I still got to see Spy Who Came In From the Cold. It's on my list. I will see that at some point. Not that I consider Bond movies traditional spy movies. Bobby, I love walking in my office for the first time since 12:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and After Hours is still on. I know. You know what it is today too. I actually slept a lot during the day. I had to take a break because I said earlier when we first started that, Teddy, who's 4 years old, we had to take him to the emergency room Saturday night. And that just killed me for the week. I've never quite recovered from it, where I was a zombie all day Sunday. Tried to take a nap, but it didn't really take. And then had a shit night of sleep Sunday night, and then Monday night I was woken up by Perry because of his computer problem. I never quite really got back into a good groove with sleep after that, and then Tuesday. So every night's been bad. So I've been terrible. And then today, I finally had a clear couple hours where I just laid down and went to sleep. So I have a little more energy on a Wednesday night than I normally would. Dalton's Bond is criticized for being too serious. I don't get that criticism, because if you watch it, he's got a ton of humor in him, but it's dry humor, especially in his first movie. But man, License to Kill is ahead of its time. I don't think people were ready for a License to Kill, because it's dark. It's Bond going rogue before Bond going rogue was really a thing, and Craig really abused that with the Craig era, I should say, not him personally. You get a little sick of Bond going rogue with Craig, because Bond is more rogue than an agent in the Craig era. But License to Kill is really great, and Robert Davi's great as the Sanchez, the villain's great. And plus it's one of those, it's kind of a down, if there is such a thing as a down to earth Bond plot. There's nobody that's trying to take over the world. There's nobody that's trying to turn the world into like an underwater utopia, or whatever the plot line is. It's just a revenge story. It's a revenge story, and Dalton is perfect for it, because Roger Moore, even if he was younger, could not have played that Bond in that movie, License to Kill. It's so goddamn good. Again, I think the soundtrack fails it a little bit. The soundtrack for the previous film, Living Daylights, was fantastic, because that was done by John Barry. Barry, I don't think, was available for License to Kill, and they got this other guy to do it. It's not quite as good. Not quite as good. But it makes up for it in other ways, and yeah, it's just great, and it's also a great Q movie. Q, Desmond Llewellyn, is great in License to Kill. He gets more play in License to Kill than any other movie. He's actually on the mission with Bond, while Bond is rogue, and that's great. So it's really it's up there. It used to be my favorite Bond movie, License to Kill. Brady says, I'm the guy sending the teeth. I have one more on the way with a prison letter and 100 teeth from Etsy coming in. Any tips for how to utilize this to make good parent entertainment? You know, it's really a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag because you don't know what kind of Perry you got. There's no way to time it, because at what point is Perry going to open it up on a Friday stream? Is what point Perry going to talk about, you know, what mood is he going to be in when he opens it, you know? So I would make your letter short as possible, and cut to the quick as often as you can. Don't make it too long, because he'll zone out. Because I think what he does when he reads long things is he's trying to get to the end of the page and he's not absorbing anything. Space out your words. You know, make them pop. You know, sometimes if I'm in his ear, I'll say, "Hey, take a beat, stop, talk about this." But other than that, he'll, you know, just do it. But I think that'll get a reaction no matter what. It's just what level of reaction. But as far as how you're going to phrase it, are you going to say? I'd have to think about that as far as like how you're going to present the bunch of teeth. Yeah, and Mike Gray says, I don't know how anybody criticizes Dalton for being too safe after the Craig era. I think the Craig era is a complete failure. Outside of Casino Royale and maybe Skyfall, it's just not good. It's just, yeah. I'm glad the era is over. Dalton is so much bad. Dalton runs laps around Craig. Robert says, how about wrapping this up? Yeah, I'm going to wrap this up. So, I'm freezing in this room too. I could see my breath in this room. That's always a bad sign. Yeah, shout out to West Most, by the way. Hope to hear some resolution to West Most's plight soon. We'll see you on Christmas Eve, Friday, at 11 a.m. Pacific time. I understand that not everybody can be here, but you know, you could check out the replay on Patreon. Skyfall's good. It's got a lot of problems though. It doesn't add the story does the villain is almost like is like a superhero. It doesn't like everything is plotted perfectly. That doesn't make sense really in the movie. Not everything. Skyfall falls apart under heavy scrutiny, but it's enjoyable to watch. I will agree. So 11:30 a.m. Not 11:30. 11 a.m. on Friday for Christmas Eve, and get all your Christmas shopping done. If you celebrate Christmas, I know not everybody celebrates Christmas, but if you do celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas. I hope it's a good one. I know it's a tough times out there with this Omegatron strain going around. Not to make light of it, I literally forgot the name again. Omegatron or whatever it is. Stay safe, and I hope you all have a great Christmas. Yes, Spectre sucks. Of course it sucks. Although this last one, No Time to Die, sucks even more. I don't know how they managed to find a new basement, but they did. Casino Royale is a great revival. Casino Royale is my favorite Bond movie, by the way. Even though Daniel Craig's my least favorite Bond, Casino Royale is my favorite Bond movie because it's fantastic. It gives you Casino Royale has everything you could possibly want in a Bond movie, and that's what's so disappointing about the Craig era is they never followed up on the promise of Casino Royale, in my opinion. So yeah, you're welcome, Harry. I'm glad. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for listening to us rambling and answering questions and stuff. Unicron, Omnicron, Omnicorn, whatever the fuck it is.
All right. Good night, guys, and we'll see you bright and early on Friday. Well, bright and early for West Coasters, and definitely early for PCL. So, all right. I'll talk to you then. Sweet dreams, or enjoy the start of your day if you're just getting up. Good night, Cha-Cha. Good night, everybody. And we'll talk to you soon. Maybe we'll call Perry. I'll call Perry off mic as the Indian guy, and I'll see if he. I'll see if I can get him to the computer while he's half asleep. I'll let you know how that goes. All right.